But when they did that, they never said that was actually song lyrics. They just said that he said that, but they were actually song lyrics because
No. Well, listen, they could take what I'm saying. If I said, you know what, we're going to blow the competition away. And then, oh, you're going to blow somebody up. No, it's a figure of speech. And it's all part of the new thought crime. They want to intimidate us. They want to keep us down, demonize us to the police, and then march the police in against us to start a civil war. But I got news for the globalists. I talked to a lot of police, so do my sources. The police have never woken up like this. It is miraculous what's happening. Self-preservation will do that to you, by the way. The police aren't stupid at the end of the day. They know a civil war of the American people is not going to go well.
I'd like to thank you for what you're doing. And one last thing is if they ever try to take you, it'd probably be the worst thing. I mean, I know this Brandon Robb thing is
well, maybe they want that, though. I mean, listen, I don't ever lie to myself and tell me they won't shoot me or kill me or set me up tomorrow. I just put it in God's hands, and whatever happens, it's in God's hands. I appreciate your call. Good to hear from you. Yeah, supporters fear Facebook Marine being disappeared. Brandon Robb forcibly transferred to psychiatric facility 3 hours away from legal team and family. The man kidnapped by police and committed to mental institution for his political post on Facebook. Fear the former Marine is being disappeared by authorities, our new masters, after he was forcibly transferred to a psychiatric facility more than 3 hours away from his family and legal team. And former veteran of foreign wars, who they say is the #1 enemy, in Afghanistan and Iraq, was involuntarily detained for psychiatric questioning last week by our loving globalist in Virginia's Chesterfield, Virginia, leaving anti-establishment messages on Facebook, which question the official story behind 9/11 and referring to corruption within the U.S. government. The FBI claims Robb's posts were terrorist in nature. That's a quote. He's being held against his will, despite not being charged with any crime under the state law that allows people to be temporarily committed for a period of 30 days. By the time they've ended up drugging him out, they'll get whatever they want. That's what criminals do. It's all about controlling everything and ganging up and winning against good people. He's being transferred to the John Randolph Psychiatric Mental Hospital in Hopewell, the Veterans Hospital in Salem, Virginia, on the other side of the state. Well, that's bad. So there you go, Infowars.com. You want to read that. A lot of veterans I know. I know a former famous UT football player is a veteran. No criminal record. And he literally did the textbook thing, went to buy his grandson a .22 rifle. And they said, sorry, you've been denied. And he did request, and they said, well, we're just saying in Vietnam, you might have had some problems. Well, I never had post-traumatic. You don't get guns anymore. No judge, no jury. Shut up, scum. We work for foreign banks. Ha, ha, ha. But there is no global government, even though we're announcing it. Ha, 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 because you're mentally ill. Craig in Oklahoma, you're on the air. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jones. Big howdy from across the Red River. And I had wanted to call you today, and maybe you could help me. I just don't understand. For instance, where are the gentry? Why aren't they waking up? You know, now my father is starting to wake up. I think I've got him convinced to take all of the family money out of the banks and put it into gold. But like, you know, I started following you and posting concerning, you know, us equipping Al Qaeda in Libya and in Syria, and people thought I was crazy. You know, and I stumbled across, I didn't even see this, but in February, the BBC Middle East had a video. It's on there now.
No, they even wear Al-Qaeda uniforms, NATO helicopters landing, dumping out black uniformed Al-Qaeda with Al-Qaeda flags. Stay there. I'm going to come back to you. But yes, the CFR website, LA Times, all of them, for over a year with Libya, now in Syria, Al-Qaeda is the main force. The quote from the CFR is, we need Al-Qaeda, America. America doesn't exist. We were taken over by foreign banks. The only way freedom comes back and America comes back is if we realize the tyrants wrapped their takeover in the American flag. We were infiltrated. We were taken over. And yes, the criminals that run our government are Al-Qaeda. They are Al-Qaeda. I'm like a caged, desperate animal just clawing, trying to get out. We're being poisoned. We're being killed. The globalists brag they've set up a scientific dictatorship. They're trying to mop up freedom, trying to get rid of our families, promoting the end of families. It's just pure evil. And they admit the fluoride's killing us. They admit the GMO is sterilizing us. They're coming out with hundreds of new GMO crops where there's no way to escape it. They're attacking us at every level. And it's just so horrible. And I know it sounds crazy to an uninformed person to say elements of the government staged 9/11. But then you look at the facts, it's all right there. I mean, it's crazy to say the government would ship guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment or would have troops growing the opium. But when it came out, they just decided to hide it in plain view and have the troops talk about how it was patriotic to grow opium and ship it into America. And the caller brings up the Al-Qaeda. There are hundreds of articles where they just say, oh, yeah, Al-Qaeda is being armed by NATO and Saudi Arabia. And, well, yeah, but they're the good guys. And, yeah, they're blowing up the military bases and stuff. And Assad's bad, though. What we're doing is humanitarian. Because they just know the average American's seen so many Hollywood movies where anybody in the Middle East needs to be killed because Chuck Norris has taken them out or whatever. I know Chuck's a listener, been on the show before, writes about me in his column all the time, but I mean, you know what I'm talking about, where all those movies in the 80s where it's always the Arab doing the bad things. So people just, in a generality, just say, kill everybody over there. And you try to tell a good old boy, hey, you know the government runs Al-Qaeda. Hey, you know the government got the underwear bomber on the plane drugged. State Department admits that. They're just like, oh, come on, it ain't true. Well, let me tell you, what you don't know will hurt you. And people are like, well, what do you do about it then? You start speaking out against this system, and you realize it's the whole thing at the top. That's the only thing that's going to turn this around. I'm going to talk about that after the break. But who was I just talking to? They dropped off. I want him to come back and finish his story about talking to family about the Al-Qaeda and how it was finally in the news. That's why I said stay there to the caller. Oh, it doesn't matter. Let's go to Anthony in New Jersey, listening on XM 166. You're on the air, sir.
Alex, how you doing?
I'm just, it's all coming true. I wish I was wrong. I'm pretty freaked out. And
I'm with you.
I mean, during the last break, it just hit me again how crazy this is. And I can't believe I'm the one fighting it. Do you have any idea how dangerous this is? But it's got to be done. I mean, this nightmare has to stop. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I agree. A couple years ago, I was traveling by plane, and I was subject to molestation by the TSA. And since that point, and listening to your show, I was going to be ready the next time I traveled. So last week I traveled to Vegas, and before I got on the plane, of course, I had to go through the TSA, and I opted out. I didn't go through the machine, and because I did it, I got at least 4 other people behind me who did the same thing, and I was just really upset.
Yeah, well, let me stop you. That's one thing about sheep. That can be used against the globalists. Sheep are so sheep-like that if they see you do something, they'll start doing it. So see, that mindlessness works 2 ways. It's not just them ordering the sheep around. When the sheep see you standing up, they all stand up. I'm sorry, go ahead. So what happened to you?
You're right. So, all right, because I did that, they were obviously ticked off at me. So you could see one of them on the radio to the other one looking at my girlfriend and checking her out, and then they got her license, and they were looking real hard at it. And I confronted them. I said, you got to go look, that's my girl, and I see what you're doing. You're not going to fool me. I know what you guys are up to. So I got on the plane. I happened to open up the magazine on the airplane, and it just opened up to this article by the guy who owned the United. He's the CEO, and he states in this article that, we thank you for flying with us, and we're happy for your business, but we just want to let you know that the TSA isn't, we don't control the TSA. They're a separate thing, and we're sorry for your inconvenience, but we don't have any control over that. And in this
no. Listen, the TSA has caused a revolt, and in Europe, similar things. It's unifying everybody because, and they know it's going to make us mad. They've got to break us to touch us on the streets, to get rid of the 4th Amendment. Next, it's our houses, airports, streets, houses. And so that's why all the marbles are on this. It's killing $40 billion a year conservatively just in theme parks, restaurants, hotels, and resorts. Okay, they're destroying the country, but that's what they want. I'm sorry, finish your story.
So, in this article, it says now that they're pleased to say that the TSA has launched a new risk-based pre-screening initiative where you voluntarily give your information to be a part of the expedited program, which would then allow you to not have to remove your shoes, belts, jackets.
Yeah, but that's a lie, too. It says they may let you. It's still just another lane, and then the groping will continue. They're going to have 3 levels: full rape room, open grope, and then a special lane for good globalists, but still they may drag you out. So, yeah, it's hurting you into the next level of slavery. All right, I'm going to talk about some of the most hardcore focused information I've ever discussed here in a moment. I am Alex Jones. I am your host. I am 110% dedicated to throwing my body, my soul, my will, my entire being against the enemy. And I know in my gut, but also from history and research, that at a core of humanity, of every race, color, creed, religion, who is aware of these truths, activates your human survival programming that God gave us. Your brain, if you set about focusing on it, will give you the ideas and the motivation and the energy to mount an assault in your area in the info war, to defeat the globalists, to discredit them, to drag their names to the mud, to crush them. And I will tell you this now: if you will not use the pen today, you will never use the sword tomorrow. All of you out there preparing with your armaments for civil war, you need to understand that you will never have the will to carry out defense of your family now if you don't get out there and engage in the info war today. Can you imagine the energy it'll take to go out and start engaging in warfare compared to aggressive info war? 90% of war nowadays is info war. We have the truth. They have the lies. Truth trumps lies. It's so powerful. It's a weapon that nothing can stop. Use it. Use it. Destroy them. Destroy them with it. It's a weapon. Viciously attack them with it. Hate them. Get your human instinct going. Get your survival mode activated. This is how humans are supposed to act, not the little ninnies that they've tried to engineer us to be. You want to be like that Facebook clown? That's what they've turned people where I live in Austin into. You're trendy if you can't talk and to talk with a lisp but don't care about anything and hurt yourself. I'm going to talk about something that really makes me mad in a moment, but can we pull up that Facebook thing? People can hear the voice of a zombie. You want to hear the voice of a zombie? This is everything that we're diametrically opposed to. This is an ad for their face scanning to sell. They give you discounts if you let them track your whole background and your whole database and tell you what you should buy because the computer knows who you are in the profile. Just like they're tracking you and know where you're going to go with your cell phone before you go there, they know you're going to go to that steakhouse.
Set out to evolve the check-in process by creating a seamless method for checking in and getting meals. Face Steals is an automated check-in system using passive facial recognition.
It's non-threatening. Oh my God! I go. Oh. And just like Hitler said,
developed to identify Face Steals participants in a matter.
Just like Hitler said, first you get the women, then you've got the children.
Get started. Log in to Face
So follow the women. Not that women are weak or bad. It's that